Hello, this is Livy Lucart, and this is Vlog 3 for English 231, How is Technology Non-Neutral? So, Chapter 1 from Technology is Not Neutral, a short guide to technology ethics, explains the different viewpoints and form up a debate while also accurately describing both sides. The section that views technology as neutral supports the ideology that it's not necessarily the technology that's good or bad, but it's based solely on the person that's using the technology and how they choose to interact with the technology that they're given. In terms of ethics, however, this side believes that we must understand the technological implications and any sort of limitations that present themselves as we continue to evolve as a society that becomes heavily reliant and dependent on technological advances. The opposing team, however, claims that technology is non neutral and they support viewing past the surface level of this technology. They want technology users to hold the production accountable. While holding this accountability, they also want to consider the materials that are being used to make this technology and what situations the technology is being made for. One of the readings observes attentional performance and the presence of smartphones. Now, one could argue that this tests the D2R concentration and attention experiment are accurate. The results are more accurate because this was a test ran via phone call, so the participants were in a location that they were comfortable with, as opposed to a room full of strangers all taking the same test, some with cell phones, some without cell phones. Having select number of people taking the test with smartphones present in a group without having smartphone presence avoids any skewing of the data, since the hypothesis of this experiment claims individuals have a lower attention performance with a smartphone present. So, despite none of the participants visibly interacting with their smartphone, the experiment does still conclude that people are less efficient while working with a smartphone present. The researchers, however, did acknowledge that smartphone dependence was considered in this experiment and needs to be further researched, especially in college students. They wanted to emphasize that this was not the test that they were running was technological dependence. They were running to see how our cognitive abilities are altered based on the presence of cell phones. As a whole, the results show how our world becoming increasingly digitalized has a correlation with our cognitive abilities, specifically in college students. So, to answer the question on how technology is non neutral, it's because the creation of evolving and new technologies directly reflects the intentions of those who created it. So, in today's society, as various different experiments have shown, technology does in fact have the power to influence our cognitive abilities, as shown is the D2, our concentration and attention test. So, while the development of smartphones have positively changed our efficiency in communication, we are, however, experiencing issues with our concentration and privacy loss. The presence of bias in AI systems due to pre existing social biases also directly correlate to the designers who make these choices, reflecting their own personal beliefs and unfair treatment. The reading, however, described an example of this as discriminatory technological advancements through an example of mismarketing products as gender neutral. This is portrayed as technology as having a rather stereotypical gender equalities, such as voices on conversational AI tools, simply because the default settings on that technology. So we're starting to see more of these stereotypes sort of come through in different conversational AI tools, specifically Amazon Alexa and Siri on a lot of different mobile devices and ChatGPT. These systems follow what the chat is said to follow what the user says, to produce a helpful answer regardless of any hostility behind the user. Specifically, the voice conversational ones, whatever you say, they're going to spit out an answer to, regardless of any tone or hostility that can sense in your voice, because the program is automated to give you a response regardless of what you say. Um, so this kind of sends off signals that in today's society, regardless of any technological advancements we're facing, regardless of any evolution that we're facing, this does still continue to send the signal that in our society today, women are still viewed as stereotypical people pleasers, more so compliant and we're just available at any given time you need us, and we're just a click away. And that is all just based on who is creating these technologies and what their default settings tell them to approve.